Just when the land of the golden crown is dancing and the aroma of celebratory jollof rice is everywhere, a voice of doom has spoken. Queen Naomi's own blood, the uncle she loves and respects, has finally broken his silence after ignoring her 4 times. But he didn't call to celebrate her victory. He called with a message that will make your skin crawl. The palace love is a trap. They are only bringing you closer so they can finally finish you. Is this a father's protection or a bitter grudge trying to kill a woman's joy? A short prayer for you. May the Lord protect you from family voices that speak fear when God has spoken peace. Every trap set for you in the name of love, may it be exposed today. Amen. The land of the golden crown is currently smelling like victory. If you see the way the women of the land have stormed the palace, you would think it's a national holiday. They are singing, they are dancing, and they are praising the golden king for his wisdom. It's a beautiful sight, my crown gist friends and families. Even the Christians and the Muslims are together, cooking and sharing food because they believe that sharing meals with the people brings a positive energy that can't be broken by any enemy. Even the atmosphere between the wives have changed. People were shocked to see visitors hugging Olorishado and everyone was laughing together. It felt like the long war was finally over. To err is human, but to forgive is divine. That was the song on everyone's lips. But you see, in the midst of all this laughter, Queen Naomi had a heavy heart. She was waiting for one specific person to call her favorite uncle. She is so close to this man. To her, his opinion is like a law. She wanted him to be part of her win. She called him once, no answer. Twice, silence. 3 times, nothing. By the 4th time, the jewel was already getting worried. She shared her worries with the golden king, and the king, being a man of high spirit, told her, "Never mind, don't worry yourself, he will call you back." And truly, the man called back. But the moment Queen Naomi picked up the phone, the air in the room turned so cold you could cut it with a sharp blade. The uncle was not happy. He was devastated. He was angry. He didn't even say congratulations. Instead, he told her that the palace love she is seeing is a deadly trap. He told her to leave the land of the golden crown immediately because she does not belong in such a dangerous terrain. The jewel was left standing there, phone in hand, with tears rolling down her face. How can the person who is supposed to be her shield be the one throwing the heaviest stones at her joy? Is the uncle seeing something we are not seeing, or is he just a man who can't let go of old bitterness? My crown gist friends and families, the shock that hit Queen Naomi after that phone call was more than words can describe. You know that feeling when you are finally standing on a mountain top, ready to breathe the fresh air of victory, and then someone you love tries to push you off the cliff? That was exactly what this uncle did. The palace was still buzzing with the sounds of drums and singing. The aroma of the food being cooked by the Akure women was still floating through the windows. But inside the room where the jewel stood, the joy had vanished, replaced by a fear that was so heavy it felt like a physical weight. The uncle did not stop at one warning. He went deep into the history of the land of the golden crown. He told her that nobody in that palace truly loves her. He said, "My daughter, listen to me. They have tried everything to bring you down from a distance. They used the golden crown elders. They used the palace staff. They used every spiritual and physical weapon they had, but God was with you. Now they have realized that your God is too strong to be fought from the outside. So what is their new plan? They want to draw you into the inner circle. They want to hug you so they can find the exact spot to drive the knife." My crown gist friends and families, imagine the confusion in the jewel's heart. She has been seeing Olorishado changing her ways. She has seen the golden king standing up for her like a lion. She has seen the people of the land pouring out their hearts in love. But here was her uncle, a man who has known her since she was a child, telling her that all of it is a lie. He told her that he is devastated that she is even entertaining the idea of spending more time in the palace. He told her that her personal animosity with the golden king shouldn't be ignored just because people are sharing food and dancing. The uncle's anger was so loud that even some of the people nearby could hear the vibration of his voice through the phone. He told her that God has prepared something better for her far away from the palace walls. He said she should not mistake the smiles of the other wives for sisterhood. To him, those smiles are just masks.
He reminded her that these same people were there when she was being frustrated, when her land documents were being stolen, and when she was being mocked. Why the sudden change? He asked her. Is it because they have repented or because they have found a more clever way to finish you? Queen Naomi tried to speak. She tried to tell him about the positive energy and the way things are changing, but the man wouldn't even listen. He was speaking from a place of deep-seated trauma and a grudge that had refused to heal. The jewel has always been very close to this uncle, and his words carry a lot of weight in her life. This wasn't just a random person talking. This was family. And when family speaks, their heart listens, even when their heart is bleeding. The most painful part for the jewel was that she wanted this man to be the guest of honor at her celebration. She wanted him to see that the God she served had finally given her rest. But instead of a guest of honor, she got a prophet of doom. She began to wonder if her uncle was seeing a vision of danger, or if his own old wounds with the golden king were making him blind to the new thing God is doing. The confusion was so much that she couldn't even join the people outside for the next round of praises. She just sat there looking at the phone, wondering if she was truly walking into a trap or if she was finally walking into her destiny. The Golden King noticed her change immediately. He is a man who reads the atmosphere like a book. He saw the jewel, the woman who was just smiling a few minutes ago, looking like someone who had just seen a ghost. When he approached her and found out what the uncle had said, the expression on the king's face was one of deep royal disappointment. He didn't get angry at the jewel, but you could tell that the words of the uncle had added a new layer of wahala to an already complicated situation. My crown gist friends and families, the drama is reaching a boiling point. The uncle is insisting she must leave while the palace is opening its arms to welcome her. Who should she believe? The blood that raised her or the king who has sworn to protect her? The suspense is so thick you could almost feel it in your own home.
My crown gist friends and families, you need to understand that in the land of the Golden Crown, a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. As the jewel sat there with the echo of her uncle's voice ringing in her ears, the palace outside was still in a state of total celebration. But inside the royal chambers, a secret war was being fought, not with swords, but with words and emotions. The uncle's warning wasn't just a phone call. It was a spiritual arrow aimed at the peace that had finally started to settle over the throne. The uncle told Queen Naomi that she was being too naive. He said, "You think because they are cooking and sharing food, the past has been forgotten? Do you know how many people have been fed into their graves with a smile?" He was adamant that the jewel should pack her bags and return to her royal mansion permanently. He reminded her that she has her own house in the UK. She has her own ministry, and she has a life that doesn't depend on the palace walls. To him, every step she takes closer to the Golden King is a step closer to her own end. But why is this man so angry? My crown gist friends and families, the gist is that the uncle has his own long-standing grudge against the Golden King. He has never truly forgiven the way things were handled in the past. While others are saying to err is human, this uncle is saying to forgive is dangerous. He believes that the Golden Crown elders who were recently banished were just the tip of the iceberg. He thinks the real engine room of the cloth is still active, and they are just using the banishment of those 13 elders to make the jewel feel safe. The jewel was torn into two pieces. On one side, she sees the Golden King, the man who has stood by her, the man who has fought her battles, and the man who is currently making international battles to fund her vision. On the other side is the uncle who has been her backbone since she was a little girl. The uncle told her that she is in a dangerous terrain and that she should not be carried away by the wife's 100 million naira contribution or the hugs from Olori Shadow. He told her that those women have been against her for years and they never succeeded, so now they have changed their tactics to internal sabotage. The Golden King, seeing the jewel's distress, tried to calm her down. He told her that people will always talk from their own perspective of fear. He reminded her that the people of Akure, her own people, were right there in the palace courtyard celebrating. He asked her, if your own people can see the sincerity of this peace, why is your uncle choosing to see blood? But the jewel couldn't just dismiss it. She knows that in our culture, an elder's warning is not something you throw into the dustbin.
The tension was so much that even the palace staff started to notice. The smiles on their faces began to fade as they saw the jewel's red eyes. The celebration was still going on outside, but the inner caucus was starting to feel the heat. Is it possible that the uncle knows something the rest of us don't know? Or is he just a bitter man who wants to keep the jewel under his own control? The suspense is rising because every time the jewel looks at Luri Shadow now, she doesn't just see a sister, she sees her uncle's warning. She's starting to look at the food and the smiles with a new kind of suspicion. The wahala is just starting and the peace of the land of the golden crown is hanging by a very thin thread.
African Nigerian friends and families, the air in the land of the golden crown has become so heavy and tense that you could almost feel the pressure in your own chest. The celebration is still moving, the drums are still beating, but for Queen Naomi, the music has turned into a funeral dirge. She is looking at everyone now through the lens of her uncle's warning. When she sees the golden crown elders, the ones who haven't been banished, bowing to her, she wonders if there's a dagger hidden in their robes. When she sees the smiles of the palace staff, she wonders which one of them is the spy her uncle talked about. The uncle's final words before he hung up were like a curse. He told her that if she stays, she is choosing her own destruction. He said that the peace everyone is talking about is just the silence of a graveyard before the ghost appears. This man is so convinced of his truth that he has even refused to participate in any of the thanksgiving prayers being offered for the jewel. To him, the jewel is being blinded by the fake love of the Golden King and the sudden kindness of the other wives. He believes that Queen Naomi is a special bird that does not belong in the cage of the palace, no matter how much gold the cage is made of. But here is the thing that is confusing everyone. If the palace is so dangerous, why is God opening so many doors of restoration right now? Why are the investors from Canada coming? Why is the land producing wealth? The uncle's answer is simple. The devil gives you a golden carpet so you don't see the pit he dug at the end of the hallway. My crown gist friends and families, the emotion on the jewel's face is enough to make you cry. She is caught between a man who holds her heart and a man who represents her blood. The Golden King is not backing down. He has told the jewel that she must decide if she will live her life based on other people's old grudges or based on her own current testimony. He is frustrated because he has done everything to prove his loyalty. He banished the corrupt elders, he secured her land, and he opened the palace doors wide for her family. Yet, one phone call from a bitter uncle has threatened to wash all that progress away. The tension between the jewel and her uncle is now a major topic of discussion among the inner circle. Some people are saying the uncle is right to be protective, while others are saying he is being stupidly funny with his timing and should let the woman enjoy her victory. As of right now, Queen Naomi is still maintaining her distance. She hasn't moved into the palace permanently. She still goes back to her royal mansion and she still keeps her bags packed for her house in the UK. She is living like a visitor in a place where she is supposed to be a queen. The uncle's warning has done its job. It has planted a seed of doubt that is growing faster than a weed. Every time she hears the word love, she hears her uncle's voice saying trap. Every time she sees a celebration, she hears him saying set up. The wahala is deep and the drama is far from over. But before I leave you to process all of this, my Crown Gist friends and families, I have to give you this very serious reminder. Please be aware that all the information, the phone calls and the warnings shared in this story are based on alleged reports, rumors and unverified gist making the rounds on social media. You should not take these details as absolute facts or official news from the palace yet. They are the trending conversations and social media rumors that are currently shaking the community. We are only bringing you what the streets are saying. So what is your take on this? Is the uncle a hero trying to save her niece, or is he a villain trying to destroy her happiness? Does he know a secret that we are all missing? Drop your comments below. I want to see what you think. I'll see you in the next update.